episode of Style Woodbridge. I'm your host, Samantha Roth, here to keep you up on all the latest trends. On today's episode, we'll be exploring the concept of bringing the indoors out, which simply means creating an inviting, comfortable living space to entertain your family and friends. Whether this be adding a comfortable seating arrangement, a fun fire pit, or buying a grill that's made for entertaining. Today, we're at Fortunoff Backyard Store in Woodbridge Township to see all the fun and exciting new products they have for us this summer. I'm here now with Karen, who is the assistant manager here at Fortunoff, and we are sitting on this gorgeous couch. This entire setup is just so nice. It feels like I'm in my living room.
Exactly, and that's the whole purpose at Fortunoff Backyard Store. We want to bring your indoor living outdoors and make it as comfortable as possible. This is our San Luca wicker collection. It's one of our most popular collections that we sell. Comes in 3 frame colors, 5 different fabric choices.
Right, and these are all here, right? So burgundy, we have green, navy, like sea blue, and then this is the beige that we're sitting on right now.
Yes, that is correct. Our wicker collection is all aluminum frame, resin wicker, UV protected. It has Sombrella fabric cushions. Sombrella fabric is marine grade, has a 5-year manufacturer's warranty against fading, mildewing, and it's water resistant.
Great, yeah, and that's something that's really important to keep in mind when you are creating your outdoor space. You can't just bring any old furniture from inside, any different pillows that you find. They need to be this waterproof, easy to maintain material.
That's what I said. It's water resistant, but what makes this collection so unique, the cushions are, the foam inside is heat sealed. So even if the outside does get wet, the inside will not be wet. And that's usually what takes the longest time to dry.
Right,
in a
yeah,
cushion.
That's amazing. That's great.
So that's what makes this set so ideal. It's very low maintenance. The only thing we do recommend is that you cover it in the winter if you are going to leave it outside when we have the snow and the ice, because this way it'll keep your patio furniture alive and kicking for as long as you have it.
Yes, and I mean it's very, very comfortable. And like you said, the fact that it dries so quickly, that it doesn't get wet, I think that that's a big plus, because you don't want, if you're having people over and it rained in the morning even, you get the dew, it can be...
Exactly. When the sun comes out, it dries within minutes.
Great.
It's great fabric to have outdoors.
And then I also really like the pillows and the rugs. Tell me a little bit about what you have here.
Same thing. The pillows are the Sombrella fabric. They're not heat sealed, but they're very low maintenance. If you get something on it, you just wipe it off with a little warm soapy water, sun dries it, and you're good to go. And even those dark red colors will not fade. The carpeting is also made for outdoors. If it gets a little dirty, you just hose it off. Again, the sun dries it. Everything's made for outdoors. Bringing your indoors outdoors.
Yes,
that's the
great.
whole.
And there's so many different options to choose from. This isn't the only arrangement they have. There's smaller sectionals. There's just the individual love seats, things like that. There's definitely a huge selection that could fit into any backyard.
And what's great about San Luca, if you only have room for 2 sofas and a table, you can do that too. Everything's very versatile.
Right, you can make this smaller too, right? These things come out and the different sections
and we
are
also
removable.
have great accessories. We have the trays that go on the corners of the wedge tables.
Right, I
so
love
you can
this.
put
So
drinks.
You just have your drinks
exactly.
there. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Karen. I really
you're welcome.
appreciate all
Thank
the
you.
information.
Thank you.
I'm joined now by John, the store manager, and he's going to talk to us about the different kinds of fire pits they offer here at Fortunoff.
This is a particular interesting item. It's one of our newer models. It's kind of a cross between a normal height fire pit and an accessory dining table. You want to sit down and we'll take a look at it?
Right. So you had mentioned that this is definitely higher than a fire pit. Usually a fire pit maybe is 3 inches lower. But the purpose of it being this high up is that you can use it
Yeah, it's
to
a dual
eat.
purpose. People use it for ambiance and entertaining at night or during the day, and it's got the additional height that you can actually use it as a dining feature.
It's kind of the graduation, I feel like, from the fire pit on the grass, you know, like hanging out with your friends. This is more. This is very much more.
It's a little bit more upscale, a little bit more
Yes.
sophisticated. It's a new style top that we're carrying this year. It's called TerraFab. It's a mixture of crushed stone, brine, and fiberglass.
Yes, and I mean, I like the feel of it. It feels very durable.
Yeah, it's very durable. It's impervious to water. Great life expectancy on it. They mold it from different types of products. You can do wooden types of products. They mold it in a silicone mold, and then they pour this into it, and it cures in it. You don't have to treat it. It cures by itself under natural conditions. And it's a real exciting product for us this year.
Great, and I noticed it's not wood. We have these volcanic-looking stones. They almost look like pumice stones.
It's natural volcanic rock. Comes basically standard with all of our fire pits. We can offer also fire glass, which we sell separately, and we carry it in a multitude of colors.
So what's the difference between this and the fire glass?
Fire glass is a more modern kind of take on the fire pit look. Shimmers and shines when the heat and the light are applied to it. And the rock is basically kind of the old school. It pops and crackles like almost a real fireplace would.
Very cool. And this isn't, you don't light this. This is gas?
It's propane, same type of tank that you'd use in your barbecue. We hook it up on the side. It's got the electronic ignition on the front. All you do is press the button, turn on the flame, and you're good to go.
And how long would you say that tank will last you?
Average use, 20 to 25 hours easily.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's a long time. And is there a recommended amount of time, like for burning it? Like, can it get too hot, or do you not? You just kind of turn it on, don't worry about it.
It's kind of customer preference. Some people like to have it really high and throw off a lot of heat. Some people like it lower for the ambiance factor of it.
So the flame is still, it doesn't have the wood, but the flame is still similar. You could still, roast marshmallows, have fun with the kids, not worry about it. But
it's s'mores friendly.
And it just looks more grown up.
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. And what other kinds of fire pits do you have here?
We have cast aluminum tops. We have porcelain tops, slate tops. We have wood burning fire pits. We have a whole group of accessories. I think we have something for everybody.
Wonderful. So another thing that I'm noticing is this lamp off to the side here. It looks like any other ordinary lamp that I would find in my living room.
No, not at all. It's made for outdoor use. It's something new from our buying line this year. We're real excited about having it in the showroom. It's sealed to the weather. The water and the moisture can't get at the bulb and at the electrical components, so it's safe for outdoor use. Kind of stylish. Fabrics are water resistant, and it's a real popular item here.
And it's durable, right? If you were to knock it over, it's
Very
not
durable.
fragile like another lamp. I mean, kids playing
Very
around
durable,
it.
built
If
for
it
the
falls,
outdoor
it's
use.
okay, that's perfect. So we're definitely bringing the indoors out right now. We've got this very comfortable couch, we've got a lamp, and we have heat. The only thing missing is cooking. So we're heading over now to the grilling section to check out some of the newest grills. So now we're in the grilling section, and this is a super cool grill. I love that we have the table space here where if you need to chop vegetables, throw them on the grill, super easy, one on either side, It's a lot of room, which I think is really important when you're trying to cook outdoors. It makes it more like a kitchen if you have counter space. So I love that these come up and down, and that's really cool. But I also noticed this is way different than anything else I've ever seen with these. There's multiple layers. So could you tell me a little bit about
Sure.
this?
It's a new product for us this year. It's called Vision Grills. This particular one is their signature line. Stainless steel shells which fold down, so you can fold them up, fold them down when you need more extra space. Fold them up, you're good to go. Komodo style grill. You light it with a lighter that's included. Goes right in here. Light it up. Once your charcoal is inside and it's hot, you can kind of dial in basically anything you need to do. It smokes, it grills, it sears. You can do 3 or 4 different layers of product. The grills are all stainless steel. They fold up so you can cook on multiple layers at one time.
Wow.
Has a shock absorber, so God forbid you had to run inside to get something out of the refrigerator and this kind of went down. It's actually not going to break. It stops it from breaking. Calibrated thermostat on the top. And when it was all said and done, you could actually clean it right out real easy. slides right open. Just dump out the ashes from your last grilling experience and load it up again for the new one.
Very cool. And I noticed also on the bottom, this is traditional, grate. This is cast iron, I recognize. What is that bottom plate there?
That's a lava stone. You can cook a couple of different things on it. You can cook your bacons, your steaks. A lot of people do that now. They don't like to use the grill part of it.
Right.
They like to cook on a solid surface, and that's part of that.
Could you do even like a pizza on that?
Sure.
Is it like a pizza stone? Like
Absolutely.
that kind of a
Most
thing?
definitely.
Very cool. Wow, yeah, I've never seen that before. This is very awesome. I like this. If I was going to pick one, I would probably go with this one. But you also have a variety of other grills
We do.
here.
We
So
have
what else do you carry?
grills by Weber. We have grills by Sabre and Napoleon. Propane style, kind of like everybody's used to. All can be converted to natural gas if need be. And they're ready for you in the store today.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, John.
You're welcome.
I love all the stuff here. It's definitely worth coming down and taking a look. I wouldn't say you could get anything. You can get anything here. There's no
Absolutely.
reason to go anywhere else. It's a one-stop shop for
Come down and
recreating
see
your
us.
backyard.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Remember that no matter what size your backyard living space is, there's something you can do to update it this summer. Whether it be getting a simple statement piece like this, or a couple of trees, or even just standing plants and some statues. There's things that you can do that'll bring new life to your backyard and make it a welcoming place to spend time with your family and friends. Fire pits make an excellent addition to any backyard. They're attractive, inexpensive to use, and can extend the use of your backyard into fall and winter. But when you use a fire pit, you're literally playing with fire. Careless misuse could not only set your house ablaze, but could also cause a grass fire or injure those around you. So today, we're at the Ford's Fire Department to learn a little bit about fire pit safety. I'm here now with Frank, who has been a firefighter at Ford's for the past 31 years, and he is going to give us some in and outs about fire pit safety and things that you need to know if you're going to light a fire in your backyard this summer.
Okay.
So what do we have here?
Okay, here we have a fire pit, an above ground one. Okay, it's made out of metal. The wood that we're using is natural wood. The size of the fire can't be any bigger than 3 feet in diameter, 2 feet high. It's dried seasoned wood. You can't burn any pressure treated lumber, leaves, brush, garbage. Okay, just natural wood.
So where would you generally get this wood if you don't have it in your backyard?
People who cut down trees, landscapers usually sell wood. Home Depot sells wood, Lowe's, and little packages.
Okay.
And you can buy wood from there.
Great. So how would you stick with the regulations? I know that you need to have the fire covered.
Yep. As part of the township ordinance, you can't use any flammable liquids to light it, so it has to be natural. So you use like kindling. You can use that to start the fire. Once it gets going, you'll see the fire comes up. You take the screen and put it over the top. The screen acts as a spark arrestor.
Okay.
Because our houses are somewhat close, if you get sparks that are coming up, lands on someone's roof, you end up having someone's roof on fire. And it also could light brush fire, so you want to contain the sparks.
Okay, great. Is there anything else about this particular pit?
Yeah, actually, when you're using the fire pit, you want to have clearance around it. Mm-hmm. A lot of the injuries that we see is people sit close to it, they get up, and they trip, and they wind up falling onto the fire. You want to keep small children away from the fire. You want to see where the smoke is going. You don't want it going through your neighbor's yard. Right. Another thing with the ordinance is that it has to be a minimum of 10 feet from any structure.
Okay.
So you want to keep it, towards the middle of your yard,
Mm-hmm.
And then if it becomes a nuisance to where the fire department responds too many times, or if the neighbors are complaining, then the police officer or fire official has the right to terminate the
of course.
the burn for the evening.
Okay. So what is the next fire pit kind that we have?
Okay. The next one, and fire pits vary. I mean, if you go to like the Home Depots and Lowe's, there's a lot of them.
Right.
Okay. If you don't want to burn wood, they have propane. Now, the propane models come in different sizes. This particular model here uses a 16-ounce propane cylinder. Now, these you have to be a little bit more careful with. The cylinder for this particular model, you take this door off the front, and it screws up into the top.
Okay.
All right, the operating valve is behind it. You have to make sure that when you put this in, that it seals, that it doesn't leak. Propane gas is heavier than air, so it's going to drop down. And what you have to be concerned with is that if it's leaking, it drops down, this device fills up with propane, and then the ignition source is on top. If it ignites, this thing could wind up it'll catch fire. You have to watch it doesn't blow up on you.
Right.
Okay.
That would be bad.
Yeah, propane's bad. And these come in different sizes. You can get tables with the large one. Those use a 20-pound propane tank, which you use on your barbecue grill.
Okay.
So the same thing with that. You don't want to make sure that you have no leaks. If you smell propane, don't light it till you seal it off, because again, 20 pounds of propane underneath the table, you get a fire underneath it. Could make a bad day for someone.
Great. And where would you get these kinds of? You said volcanic.
This is actually lava rock.
Lava.
It's what they use in your barbecue grills.
Okay.
It retains heat. These cylinders last, depending on how you have the setting set, anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours. Then you have to change the cylinder out. This gets hot, and when it shuts off, it stays hot.
Right.
Again, you got to watch little kids with it. The propane flame, though, is sometimes it's hard to see.
Okay.
Like you come over, you don't think it's on, and you want to put your hand over it, and
it's there.
Right. They want to get burnt.
So,
okay.
Got to be more careful with these.
On all the appliances, there's listings on it, as here. Okay, it shows you that it's UL rated. It has the instructions on how to use it. So if you're going to use this type, read the instructions first. Okay.
Yeah, and then we have one more kind of fire pit to look at.
Right.
So this is more, I see these in general. I'd say this is probably the most common that people will have in their backyard if they don't have something built in or something dug into the ground. Do you want to touch a little bit on, if you are going to dig a fire pit into the ground, what are some of the rules for that?
Yes. If you're going to dig a fire pit into the ground, it usually goes down about 2 feet. If you're going to use brick around it, make sure that the brick is rated for fire.
Okay.
Some brick, when you heat it up, it actually spalls, and spalling is the moisture in the brick. It expands and it actually turns to steam, and it pops out and sends out projectiles. So you have to watch that it doesn't hit you or get in your eye. It's sometimes it could be pretty violent.
Right.
So again,
we'll stick with one of these for now.
Now this one, if you compare this one to the one on the end, okay, this one here is built a little different. You have the wire mesh around the bottom, all right, that keeps the sparks in, and then this one has the lid that goes over the top. So as the fire is burning, any sparks that come out, this will act as a spark arrestor.
Okay. Great. So you want to light it up and we can see what it looks like at full force?
Sure.
Great. So now we have the fire roaring. What are some things that you need to keep in mind once the fire is full blast like this?
Okay, once the fire is burning, again, you want to keep everything, the area clear around it. Kind of get an idea where the smoke is going. If it's going to your neighbor's house, obviously, you might have to put it out. Again, we're burning natural wood. You need clearance from it, so if you're sitting close to it, if you're sitting in a chair, you get up, have enough room to walk around it. A lot of times people get up and they fall into it. A lot of the injuries we see, sometimes people are, drinking alcoholic beverages, they get a little tipsy, and they want to fall on it, they want up getting burnt. Keep kids away from it. Kids are, naturally curious, you can feel the heat. We're about 3 feet away from this, and you can feel the radiant heat off of it. So you want to keep the flame arrestor, the spark arrestor on top of it, the screen that keeps the sparks down so they don't pop, they don't start a fire outside of it. Today, the wind conditions, when we first started, we really didn't have too much of a wind. Now we got a moderate wind, so depending on the wind, you can see how it's affecting the fire now.
Right. It's really coming up.
So if you were sitting this close to it, okay, you might want to back up a little bit.
Right.
And if it gets to where the fire is, if it starts to leave if it comes out of the fire pit too far, like it's about to do now, you may have to just hit it with some water and knock it down a little bit.
So going back to how you were talking about, people will be drinking around them. I feel like that's when some people will get, not so bright ideas where they start throwing things into the fire that aren't necessarily supposed to be in the fire. I've had people throw, cans and things, and that personally makes me nervous. Is there anything that you would definitely not want to put in the fire that could be dangerous?
You don't want to put any, first of all, to light it, you don't want to use any flammable liquids, no gasoline or anything like that. That's how people wind up getting hurt. You don't throw any aerosol cans or any kind of, closed containers. Again, they heat up, they could explode when they're in there.
Right.
Pretty much natural wood. You don't want to burn garbage, because again, like if you burn a lot of paper in there, paper as it gets caught up in the smoke, it could wind up going into to your neighbor's yard. If their gutters aren't clean, they have leaves in them, and sparks get in there, you can wind up burning their house down. Okay, and then actually when you're done, okay, in Woodbridge Township at 1 o'clock, all fire pits have to be extinguished. Okay. When you extinguish it, you use moderate amount of water. Right. If you're going to take the ash out of it, you put the ash into a metal bucket.
Okay.
One of the other things that we see is people put the ash into a plastic bucket, they leave it on their deck, and wind up igniting their deck on fire.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's,
So,
yeah.
But it happens, especially during the wintertime with people with fireplaces. Take the ash out of their fireplace, they put it onto the deck in a plastic bucket, and yes, their deck is on fire.
Wow. So it has to be out by 1 a.m. and make sure you take the ash and put it in a metal container.
In a metal container, right.
Right.
Like the mold style garbage cans. The Home Depot's got them. The small can, you put it in enough to put it in and put the lid on it.
Okay. All right. Sounds simple enough. Thank you so much, Frank, for taking
welcome.
the time to go over all of this with us. And again, whether you're in Woodbridge Township or elsewhere, make sure to always check with your fire department or on different ordinances in your township. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to call your fire department and double check before you do anything that may or may not be harmful and or illegal. So thank you so much, and we'll be back. So now that we've discussed how to bring the indoors out, I'm going to talk to you about bringing the outdoors in. So for this segment, I'm going to show you how to make this indoor mason jar herb garden. Mason jars have become very trendy and popular in recent years, and it's one of those things that you can find around the house. So I find that it could be a fun little project to do at home with things that you may have around the house that you aren't necessarily using. So what I have here, what you're going to need is a mason jar. This is a quart size. You can do it smaller, but because my plants are so big, I decided to go with the bigger size. Some stones that you may have from whether it be an artificial plant that you have in the house or even ones that you can find outside, and potting soil. Also for decorating, I just did a simple twine wrap and I made a cute little tag just labeling what kind of herb it is. So the first step is putting 2 to 3 inches of rocks in the mason jar. Now we're putting these in so that when we water the plant, because there are no holes in the bottom of the jar, you need a way for the water not to soak the plant and drown it. So that's what these rocks are going to do. And again, you want it to be about 2 to 3 inches. I'm going to just go ahead. I'm losing rocks. Okay, so I'd say that that's good. Now we have 2 to 3 inches of rocks. The second step is to take your potting soil. Now you can use any kind of potting soil. I have this Miracle Grow. Again, things that you just have around the house, extra soil that you may not necessarily be using. So to make this easier, because this is a small opening, I'm going to use a tablespoon, and we're going to just start filling our rock, covering our rocks with the soil. And now I'm going to do this almost to the middle, maybe a little bit above, because when you put your plant in, you want to make sure that you're only burying it as deep as it already is in the container. Pack that down. So that looks about right. That's about, I'd say, 2.5 inches. Move that off to the side. Now, I got this plant at the Home Depot. It's a mint plant, and it comes in these biodegradable containers now. But you want to cut off the biodegradable container because that's not going to work for you in your mason jar. So you're just going to take your scissors and cut off the biodegradable. And your plant should pretty much stay intact because it's packed into that container. And this can get a little bit messy. So you see I have all these roots now. So you want to make them, it came off naturally with the container. If this didn't happen, you just want to pull and loosen them a little bit. So now you're going to gently fit this in and press it down. And you want to make sure that you press it down enough because you don't want any air pockets because that will not be good for growing reasons. So it looks like I pushed it down as much as needs to be. So that's the basics of it. Now we'll just go into the decorating part. So I'm going to cut a decent amount of string because I want to wrap it multiple times around the top. This is just twine, again, I found around the house. I use it to wrap my newspapers for recycling. So, and if you don't want to decorate, obviously you don't need to. I just think it makes it look cuter. And I love the mason jars for doing this type of thing because it already has this little indent in it, so the string or twine just fits nicely in it. I'm gonna just wrap it around as many times. And then to secure it, I'm going to just tie a knot. So there's no glue involved in this, which makes it an easier, more simple project in my opinion. I made this little tag. I found it for like $1 at Target and just wrote mint on it because that's what I have here is mint. And I'm going to just slip this through the tag hole. Okay. And now I'm going to just tie a simple little bow just to kind of get everything together. A little bit tinier. Cut off the excess that I don't want. And that'll do it for this segment. You can look on Pinterest for more fun ways to decorate your jar or come up with other ideas from things that you find around your house. As far as watering and taking care of your herb garden goes, you want to make sure that you water it but not overwater it. You'll be able to see by looking at the rocks if there's too much water in the plant, and then you'll wait and not water it again until all of that water has evaporated and absorbed. As far as making your plant grow evenly, because it is indoor, the plant will grow towards the sun. So you'll just want to make sure to rotate your plant accordingly so that it grows in an even and full fashion. So thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope that you were able to find some fun and interesting tips on how to make your indoor and outdoor living space a little bit more fun and trendy for this summer. Thanks for watching.